What have these last few days felt like for you leading into tomorrow's game?
Yeah, I think it's just nice to get back out there and get to the flow of, playing with my teammates again. And, it's gonna be fun to get back out there, hopefully, and just feel things again. I think, I don't know what type of minutes I'm gonna get, will look like, but just when I'm out there, compete, play hard. This is gonna be a team that's gonna be moving constantly. So just being aware and active, bring energy. And yeah, I think that, it's obviously hard sitting out and watching for a few weeks, so I'm definitely excited to get back out there.
Steph said yesterday you're not a fan of minutes restrictions. How do you anticipate all that actually going when you play with?
Yeah, I hope to play a decent amount, maybe upper 20s. I guess it just depends how I feel and how the game goes and, what the team needs as well. But, yeah, I feel pretty good, but probably going to try not to overdo it as well and put myself in a good position moving forward.
Welcome back to the Hoop of Basketball channel, everyone. Today, we're diving into one of the most exciting in basketball. Indiana Fever fans have been buzzing with anticipation. Caitlyn Clark is expected to return to action this Wednesday, July 9th, when the Fever face off against the Golden State Valkyries. After missing 5 straight games due to a left groin strain, the 2024 Rookie of the Year appears ready to rejoin the lineup. Let's rewind a bit. Caitlyn Clark was first sidelined with a left quad strain back in late May, an injury that pulled her from action for 5 games. She made her much-anticipated comeback on June 14th, dropping a career night with 32 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists against the Liberty. But the reprieve was short-lived. On June 24th, she picked up a nagging groin issue that ruled her out of Indiana's next 5 contests, including their winning performance in the mid-season Commissioner's Cup. During Wednesday's practice, Caitlyn Clark told reporters she doesn't know exactly how many minutes she'll log, but she's hopeful upper 20s sounds about right. She added, "When I'm out there, compete, play hard," planting the seed that will see her energy, if not full minutes, against Golden State. Meanwhile, Fever coach Stephanie White has emphasized patience, saying if there's day-to-day progress, she might sit Caitlyn Clark another game instead of rushing her back. The message is clear. Caitlyn Clark's long-term health is the top priority. All told, this Wednesday will mark Caitlyn Clark's first action since June 19th, a 21-day absence riddled with jet lag strategy, rehab, and careful monitoring. After nearly 3 weeks away, her return feels like more than just a comeback. It feels like a revival of the Fever's identity. So where does Caitlyn Clark stand? Before her recent stint on the sidelines, Caitlyn Clark's season averages sat at a balanced 18.2 points, 8.9 assists, and 5 rebounds over roughly 33 minutes per game. Not bad for a point guard in her sophomore WNBA season. Caitlyn Clark's last game before the groin injury was on June 19th at Golden State. Despite a shooting slump, going just 3 for 14 from the field and 0 for 7 from deep, she still stuffed the stat sheet. Overall, though, her three-point shooting has dipped to about 29.5% this year. A slideshow of highs and lows, but nothing out of the ordinary for a guard tasked with heavy playmaking and risk-taking. Injuries aside, Caitlyn Clark's been taking every precaution. Coach Stephanie White highlighted that the team's internal goal has been for her to return only when she's 100% ready, not just physically, but mentally too. Extra emphasis has been placed on how she moves on court, semi-live shooting drills, gradual load increases, and inching back to full-speed contact. And there's a team effect to consider too. When Caitlyn Clark stepped off the court, the Fever actually held their ground, 5 wins in 5 games during the quad absence, and then a mid-season trophy cap. That wellness-first approach is about more than just Caitlyn Clark. It's about preserving a team leader while maintaining team chemistry. Caitlyn Clark is physically ready, mentally focused, and operating under a clear health-first protocol. Now the question is less about whether she will play, and more about how she'll impact once she steps back in. What happens when Caitlyn Clark returns? The Indiana Fever's offensive identity hinges on her playmaking and keen vision, so even limited minutes will shift dynamics. Without Caitlyn Clark this season, Indiana's record has been a sturdy 5-5. Those near .500 numbers reflect what many analysts note: a balanced offense that flows even when she's off the court, not a dependence, but synergy. Carolyn Peck raised a point worth considering. "I think Indiana is even more dangerous when Caitlyn Clark doesn't play because she's a ball-dominant guard. The ball's in her hands a lot. But when you look at Indiana now, They have so many weapons and Kelsey Mitchell is playing out of her mind. That balance is key. Caitlin Clark doesn't need to dominate to make an impact. Her presence alone elevates spacing and tempo. Against Golden State, she'll face a robust defense led by coach Natalie Nakase. Known for adjustments, they held Caitlin Clark to just 11 points and poor shooting earlier this season. So Indiana Fever's staff will need to support her with screens, off-ball movement, and quick transitions. Expect to see smart usage, staggered minutes with McDonald or Colson to keep overloading the defense. Indiana Fever coach White has emphasized energy and awareness. This is going to be a team moving constantly. Bring energy. Caitlin Clark's return won't come with fireworks at first. It's about rhythm, chemistry, and opening the floor. Let's zoom in on Wednesday's opponent, the Golden State Valkyries. They're a 7.5-point underdog, but that number feels like more of a leash. These two squads played a close game earlier this season. During the June meeting, Caitlin Clark managed only 11 points on tough shots, while Golden State's defense smothered her outside game. Betting experts like Doug Kazarian suggest taking the under on Caitlin Clark's point prop, 17.5, given that tough track record. Golden State comes in at 9-9, struggling on the road and still finding consistency. Their home court defense is solid, but Indiana Fever's spacing, once Caitlin Clark is back, could stretch them thin. Expect a chess match. Valkyries will crowd Caitlin Clark, try to bait mistakes, and disrupt passing. Indiana counters with quick ball reversal, off-ball cuts, and the pacing Caitlin Clark thrives in. If Caitlin Clark plays around 25 to 28 minutes as rumored, Indiana Fevers must maximize her time on court. That means tight rotations, defensive support, and immediate offensive flow. Controlling mid-quarter momentum could define the game. Golden State tries pushes, Indiana answers with spacing and smart offense. What comes next? The schedule brings a heavy stretch, homestand through mid-July, followed by a rematch against Dallas on August 1st at the AAC. Clark's next minute's rest decisions will hinge on how she responds Wednesday. Coach White's long-term approach suggests patience. If Clark gets a bump or discomfort, she'll sit. But a strong performance and no setbacks? Expect gradual ramp-up in minutes to her typical 30+. Off the court, Clark's star continues to shine. She's been named captain for the 2025 All-Star Game, thanks to record-breaking fan votes. And her influence even extends to team branding. Indiana Fever were the second most valuable WNBA franchise in 2025, largely due to the Caitlin Clark effect. But here's the rub. Star power only carries you so far. Health, team chemistry, and smart deployment will define how this season evolves. If Clark returns Wednesday, helps the Fever maintain or exceed .500, and walks off the court healthy, that's the win scenario. This isn't a single-game redemption. It's the first step in a larger journey. We'll all be watching how Caitlin Clark, healthy, humming but not overtaxed, reshapes Indiana's playoff push. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next.